Hey guys, what's up? So I was just asked this question on TikTok of all places about how to draw chiseled faces. So I kind of wanted to make a little mini tutorial. Hopefully I can kind of explain some stuff to you. My webcam is not working right now, which kind of sucks because I was hoping I could show you like facial features and be able to use myself as a demonstration. Not that I have a chiseled face, although I am very attractive. No, I'm not. I'm really not. But it's easier to point out like shadows and curves in the face than it is for me to draw them. But we're gonna do our best, all right? And we're gonna try to make this about a 10-minute video, short, simple, sweet, to the point. The question was actually how to draw chiseled faces and old faces. I think I'm gonna split those up in two videos. Okay, so here we have a side profile and a front facing profile, and I'm just gonna go over those really quick. The areas of focus that I focus on when I'm drawing a sort of more chiseled faces. First is going to be the cheekbones. So on every face, and I'm sure you've seen these before, they're kind of this dividing line that the skull kind of goes through like this, and you'll see it on a lot of different sort of those black and white grayscale color mannequins and stuff that you might see. You'll see a lot of those. They'll kind of be divided up into that, and a lot of this will be like shaded down here. This is because this is the cheekbone, right? And it creates a ridge, and this is the side of the skull, and also creates a ridge. When we're drawing more chiseled features, for example, those areas are very, very prominent, and like the temple area and then the cheekbone area, they're kind of gonna get highlighted. So I'm drawing over here, and you can see those. Let's make a new layer on here, and just kind of show you guys really quick. So we'll just throw in some eyes and a little bit of eyebrow here just to kind of give a demonstration on that. So we don't really need to draw this entire cheekbone, but we want to know that that's there, right? And it's kind of got this shape to it actually. It kind of makes this little triangle path beneath the eye, and this side, this top side, actually gets hit with a lot of light, right? So over here you'll kind of see it like this, and it'll kind of come down, and that side will often get shaded or get lit a lot depending on your light source. So the more fat a character will have on there, the less that's going to be exaggerated. The more chiseled it's going to be, the more we're going to create like a deep cut to it, right? So up here sometimes we'll give that little bit of the temple bone. You can feel it up. Put your hand right now up on the side of your face, and just kind of feel that ridge above your eye, right? You notice it kind of goes through there, and this is that cheekbone. The cheekbone is probably the most prominent part when we're giving really chiseled features, right? And it usually kind of runs down with a line down here. Usually I'll put a little bit of a line on the jaw there, but we don't need to connect these. We just really need that accentuated mark right on the top of the cheek. And like I said, it depends. It really, really, really depends on how chiseled you want to make these features of the face. So actually, let me zoom in a little bit because this may be tiny on your YouTube screen. So one example I'm gonna guide you to as far as the chiseled faces that I want you to go look up if you are struggling with this. There's an artist named J. Scott Campbell. He is one of my favorites, and he has a drawing of Ash. He has several drawings, I think, of Ash from Evil Dead. And I want you to just Google it. Google J. Scott Campbell Evil Dead Ash drawings, and you can see how he has his line work. I believe he kind of almost makes the cheekbone run down all the way into the jaw, right? But up here, you're going to have that heavier curve right next to those ears where it comes in. And this is going to get lighter and then darker towards the end too, right? But I believe he gives him like little bit of a double chin on there. And we'll just throw a nose in here really quick. Right. Maybe some eyebrow placement really quick just to kind of show you guys where we're at. So he hits those areas of the side of that cheekbone really, really, really heavy. and he continues his line work actually on down through here and kind of curves it around. That's totally optional, but he is a great person to kind of look at. The whole point is that when you're looking at chiseled features, and this is, you're going to see this as we cover the cheekbones, the temples, and the nose will be next, and the jawline is kind of in here too. As you're looking at these features, they're going to be making more like, think of the like pyramids or steps. You know, you're going up steps. Um, than say like features that are just round like this, where we have more fat in the face, right? So let's kind of clean up some of these lines and let me show you what some of it will look like without all these extra lines here, right? So we'll kind of clean these up a little bit. So notice we have, I kind of drew that chin out a little bit more. If I get my eraser tool. Right, so I kind of have that chin sticking out, but you notice the shapes I'm using. It's this shape, right? It's not going to be like this shape, where we might have the mouth like that. This is going to be more childlike, more innocent. Think of the visual message that you're going to convey there. So we get all these going. Actually, and I would move the ear back a little bit. One thing is this area, this jawline, it's going to be much sharper too, right? We don't always have to draw this line. This doesn't always have to be drawn straight through. Let me kind of focus in on what I'm working on. Right, but in say an individual with more fat in their face, sometimes even you will just connect the neck to it, right? And you'll just have a little bit here. But if we want that strong jawline right there, it's that sort of that curve, and then heavy shadow under it, just like we had that heavy shadow right underneath that cheek line. I wish I could show you guys with the camera for a better example. So let's just attach an ear really quick here. One thing too, we can sell it with sort of the eye size and the eye expression too, right? So I think I have the eyebrow line. Think of those orcs and ogres. If you ever look at like a D&D book or something like that, they really emphasize that eyebrow area. And that's going to be another thing we can focus on. Right, so I'm going to take this nose, and once again we're kind of using more pointy shapes. I see a lot of this with the bridge of the nose, right? So I kind of tend to draw my nose as like a sort of a triangle shape. I think of a diamond, depending on what shape I want. You know, I can get a lot of mileage out of it. These are not anatomically correct at all. Chiseled noses, you'll see a lot of characters, they kind of come out, and then there's like this little step. Remember we talked about the steps that kind of go like this in the face, right? Steps right here, steps right here. And we see a little bit of that temple. It's kind of moved back here, right? So now we kind of, if you guys know Ash, I was talking about Ash earlier. Now we kind of see it more and more. Even the Adam's apple. Like, let's get that Adam's apple really popping out. Okay. Let's just throw some hair on him really quick here. Alright. So you see that those areas here, 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 all those areas kind of make that in the eyebrow ridge. All those areas really sell a more chiseled face. And even the anatomy that surrounds the face, like, let's not focus on just the face, let's focus on the rest of that anatomy too, that sells the whole thing, because that whole thing is a character, right? That's why we got the little like kind of scrunched up angry expression as well. And now we come over here, let's see if we're making that same character, right? So we kind of throw in those those heavy ridges. And when we want something to look heavy, we shade the whatever side. In this example, we're going to have our light coming from top down. So I like to always put like a little bit of an arrow on my drawing where I know the light source is going to come from. Maybe you want to draw a little sun, whatever it is, and then you have the arrow shining. So even on him, like let's go underneath that lip and give it a little bit of shadow. That's why I'm hatching the bottom of his nose as well. And you can kind of throw in these little like marks on the nose too. That'll sometimes sell it. Right? So now we're over here on the front face. Let's see the same stuff we did, right? Got that shadow underneath the lip there. Saw that jawline coming down here. Got a little bit of an Adam's apple. Usually this will be lit because this is like a little bit of a... So this Adam's apple shape is like a little bit of a diamond, right? So we kind of got to figure out where that light is coming from. In this case, top down, right? I'll usually light it from one side too as well. So if we have that sun hitting the top of it, right? But I'll often think of a light coming from the side, and that's why I make it kind of heavier on one side. So that shadow is not really correct. It's like kind of missing over here. So we'll make the underside of this jawline shaded as well, a little bit heavier. Right. And these are going to be the muscles within the neck. I know these eyes are going to be way... these eyes are going to be way bad when I flip it. This is something I'm really bad about, is just drawing the eyes on a good plane with each other. Okay, so here's the side of that skull. And another important thing to realize is that not all skulls are just going to be round, right? They have this sort of area is carved off in actuality, especially when we want a chiseled feature. It's not necessarily going to be like this round shape that everything comes out of, like the neck doesn't come out of here and it's this round. Now, if you want to draw that sort of bigger character with more body fat, right, you can kind of work with that shape. Don't be afraid to mess around with. And you can even put those cheekbones right in there. But for this, we're emphasizing that the fat in the skin is so much closer to the bone. So we're showing a lot more of this. Alright. Let's erase these guidelines. Whenever we erase these guidelines, then we see just how unbalanced stuff is. But for the example of this, it's just a lesson. We'll be alright. Okay, so the nose, like a lot of people will kind of do sort of a diamond shape in there, almost like the nose kind of looks a little bit broken. Right, I tend to draw really bad anatomical noses. So on this, I just focus, mostly my focus is on the bottom of the nose, right? That's just me. And then I build the rest of it off of that. So if he needs to have like a little indentation on that bridge of the nose, then I'll kind of go in there and make it later. Alright, so I'm not trying to make this video too long. I think we've gone over 10 minutes by now. But here's those sides of those cheekbones. Like I said, we don't need to connect them down to that jaw. But we kind of give the illusion. Your eye fills in so much of what you do in art too. You don't need to give the reader or the viewer everything. Alright. Now he's just angry. This is the guy who found out he's only getting $600 for a stimulus check. This is me. This is me. Finds out our government doesn't care about us. Okay. And even then, you can go in here because this kind of is underneath the. This is still like a ledge, right? So we can still shade that. We can shade all this, right? We can do some hatching as well. We don't need to just do solid black lines. Okay, so those are the main areas to focus. Think about the cheekbones, the temples, anything. Feel your own face. Just feel where those ridges are in your skull and your skeleton, and think about like the more chiseled the face is, the less fat and pattiness there. And that's also going to be if you look at a painting, that's sometimes tends to be where the it ends up a little bit more blue, because the skin is so pressed to bone, right? And there's not a lot of circulation there. So something kind of interesting to look for as well. And I hope that helped. I hope it wasn't too long. Yeah, let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to add. Our next video, I think the next question is going to be on older faces, so I'll have to try to think of how to explain that one. That's a really tricky one to get a hold of because you have to deal with a lot of gravity, and it's quite the opposite of this, for example. So, thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Hope this helped you guys figure some stuff out, and see you on the next video. Peace, guys.